Yo, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day and have a great weekend planned ahead. I am Tom Cruise Crown, and I'm here to update you on the markets, Bitcoin, traditional, etc. We have some spice going on today, though it does seem like today's not the spiciest day. Seems like everyone's still asleep. That's all right, they'll join us soon. We'll start off quick. CrownAnalysis.com. Check it out for your favorite updates on market, econ, finance, business, etc. If you're interested in writing, join the Discord and let me know. We'll hook you up. Moving along. While the crypto markets remain pretty stagnant today and over the last few days, we have some spice on the big economics calendar. I had this set up, but for some reason it reset, so let's do this again. Okay, no, today. This isn't all from today. All right, maybe it is. Who knows? So we have some good economic stuff coming in. As we've been of the opinion lately, no news is good news. When the markets are down, no news happens to be pretty bullish most of the time. We have a lot of hot numbers that came in at 8:30 in the morning. That includes core PCE, PCE price index, personal income. Let me scroll on down. Pending home sales. And that looks kind of it. Do we have other ones? I had this all set out. For some reason, this is different than what I was looking at earlier. That's okay. We're going to really quickly kind of go through these numbers and make a little bit of sense of them. We're going to take a look then at the Bitcoin. We have some spicy charts here, including Tesla. We made an amazing call, and Tesla's making moves today, wildly up 70% from our support target. Gold is in the spotlight, but not the way that you might think. Finally, we're going to look at the S&P 500, and then we're going to jump into your favorite alts. We have some pretty spicy stuff there. Off the top of my head, FTM, APT, we hit that measured move target. That's a spicy chart. OP, let me see, Doge, we got a lot. We got a lot of them. So settle in. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. Help hype the stream up. The more likes, the more subscribes, the more shares. The more engagement the stream gets, the more YouTube shows it to new eyes. So do your thing. So in this video, we're going to talk about the latest economic indicators and their impact on markets. We're going to be discussing the ones basically I just named, and starting off with crude oil inventories. The actual number came in at 0.53 million, which is lower than expected of 0.97 million. And this may suggest that there's a decrease in demand for oil or reserves for oil, and this may lead to decreased oil prices. Not bad. We're trying to combat inflation. Energy costs coming down, going to be a highlight for inflation cooling. Next, we have core durable goods. Man, there's a lot of these acronyms. For the month of December, which came in at negative 0.1, lower than the expected, negative 0.2. Technically, that's higher. That's a bad note. This may indicate, I'd say, an increase in manufacturing and have a positive impact on economic growth. Moving on to the fourth quarter for GDP, the actual number came in at 2.9%, higher than the expected 2.6%, and this definitely suggests that the economy is growing at a faster rate than expected, which is generally seen as a positive indicator for markets. Initial jobless claims up next at 186,000, lower than the 205,000 expected. This indicates there is a decrease in the number of people filing for unemployment benefits, which may suggest a stronger job market. This is not the number we wanted. We wanted to see initial jobless claims continue to come in over forecast so that the Fed may have reasoning on February 1st. Tune in for the FOMC meeting and check out Chirpow speaking live. We already have that scheduled. Make sure you set that date on your calendars and set your notifications and reminders. New home sales came in at 616K, which is pretty much in line with the expected 617, and this suggests that the housing market is stable and steady. Core PCE price index for December came in at 0.3, which is exactly the 0.3 forecast. The weathermen finally get it right. This indicates that inflation is maybe stable or under control. Lastly, pending house sales for December, 2.5%, higher than the expected. Is this correct? Did I get my notes wrong? This seems crazy. Why are all these things here now? Was I looking at yesterday's? There we go. Yeah, that's wrong. 16.6, just below 16.7. That's pretty much in line. Not a lot of change there. Not a lot of interest. So these economic indicators, not exactly what we want, but no news is good news, and some of these are actually looking pretty decent. So as discussed in the video, we're seeing an overall stable economy. Crude oil came in lower, which may lead to a decrease in oil prices. However, GDP for the fourth quarter came in higher than expected, suggesting the economy is growing at a faster rate. Jobless claims lower than expected, indicating a stronger job market. New home sales were in line with expectations, and core PCE pricing index was stable. Let's move along. That was a lot of words. Not a huge mix-up in these numbers, but I'm enjoying, or I'm liking, kind of the neutrality when we spent long periods, basically all of last year, in a decline. Really, that's the way a reversal is made. You gotta smooth out that downtrend, flatten out, and reverse. That's pretty much what we would expect. In the week to come, actually this is this week, next week, let's see what we have up on the economic calendar. CB consumer confidence for January, gonna be a big one. ADP non-farm employment change, initial jobless claims again, it seems. ISM manufacturing, jolt jobs, and crude oil inventories. FOMC statement coming up on the 1st with the Fed interest rate decision, which probably we should have started by talking about. If I like investing.com, you guys can use whatever you want, but I like their tools, and I like their focus on the Fed here. This is really interesting data. This is their Fed monitor tool. Now, it's just a guess. It lists probabilities. It's certainly not I don't know, the Bible. It's not a certainty, but I like the probability here. What we see is the market was looking for a 50 or higher BPS rate hike at the beginning of January. However, now getting closer to February, we see the current probability of a 25 BPS increase. I finally called one of these right. They kept swerving me. 99.6%. The market is all but certain that the Fed will be, I won't say pivoting, but at least slowing these rate hikes down with a 25 BPS point. I mean, that's still something to be considered. It's still an increase. However, if you look back at the previous increases, they're getting smaller and smaller as time goes on, and this is getting towards that Fed pivot. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to take time, and honestly, by the time they pivot, the bottom is likely to be in. So draw your own conclusions there. I'm not here to do that for you. That's right. Okay, jumping in real quick for a Bitcoin recap, then we'll get to our stocks, and we'll go back to Bitcoin for an in-depth look. Right now, trading at 23.2. Bitcoin hit a higher high 2 days ago, and now is currently in like a little hammer candle on the day. Our important price levels are marked out on this chart, and let me add those labels really quickly here. There we are. The 20 daily moving average, sitting at 20.8 thousand. This is chasing price up as prices really kicked it into gear here in this, well, we'll call it a micro parabolic climb. Somewhat, I would say that's somewhat a strong support for Bitcoin, only because we see the 20 coming up to meet our previous resistance on the daily at 21.1. If price kind of meanders its way there, likely to find solid support at the 20 daily. If that's lost, the 200 daily is sitting at a pretty critical level, and that's right around 19.6. I'm going to call that 19.8, roughly 19.6, 19.8. As the 200 daily continues to trend up, this is creating a pocket of support below us. Now, above is the final boss battle, sitting at 25K, and you may see the poll in the chat right now that's live. What's next for Bitcoin? 25K at the 200 weekly, or 19.6 at the 200 daily. Both are great targets, and both may be hit by the time this is all resolved. Moving above the 200 weekly, staying there, maybe closing a weekly candle, is going to be a great sign. Great sign that we are in an uptrend. I don't think you actually really have to be told that, but it will be cementing of that uptrend. And we have a few charts that we're going to get into that suggest that this may have already happened. Suspense. Okay. Suspense. This is our quick take on the BTC chart. Ooh, I forgot to mention, we also have Coinbase's stock. We'll look at that next. This is actually a very spicy chart today. Whew. Let's get into it. Coinbase has seen a pretty explosive day, and I don't have my bar change values here. Bar change values. 15% up today on Coinbase's stock. Now, this is typically maybe not so interesting. However, we can see here that price of Coinbase's stock and the total crypto market cap, or Bitcoin, seem highly correlated, at least for now. In 2023, or that's this year, at the start of 2023, we saw coin hit what seems to be its low. Now, it hasn't retraced enough to be super confident that it's now in a long-term uptrend. It definitely is looking pretty good for at least a local bottom. After retaking $46 on January 23rd, we have seen price consolidate around 50, and today it's finally broken that consolidation, trading all the way up to 61. Let's zoom in a little bit. All the way to 61. This is looking very healthy. Very healthy. Marketcipher B on the 4-hour looks very good. On the day, momentum is up. We see money flow looking to roll over to positive. I think I'm going to stick with my original here. $83 or $84 seems to be maybe the interim target for coin. As it's broken past resistance, this is looking pretty good. Now, this level. Ooh, I heard a subscriber. I gotta turn my sound up. Do we have a subscriber? We do. What's up, Instigator Films? Thanks for subscribing. I also see Raf Dean, Nazil, and Janika Buckland. Thanks for subscribing, guys. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, join us. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe, enable notifications, and then go on your mobile device and enable notifications. And that way, you'll always know when we're live. By the way, sorry for not being live yesterday. I had a little, let's call it a medical thing, nothing to worry about, but I couldn't go live yesterday, and that's why we're live today. We are here every other day. We've missed one day this month, and we don't make a habit of that. Using our swing high to swing low, and this is the high from August of 22 down to the start of 23. We have not only this weekly resistance from September, but we have our golden retrace, our 618 retrace, sitting at $84, making this a prime upside target if we see continuation. The monthly does suggest a little bit of resistance at 69. Nice. That was November's open, which was sold off. Now, the whole chart of coin is pretty wild. Even moving back to $84 is really barely a move for it. If we zoom out for its entirety, started trading in April of 21. And how far did it go down? 92.5%. So Coinbase acting kind of like an S-coin here, losing almost 93% of its value since open. A bounce back to 84 is really just a small bounce in the greater picture. Let me see. Boop, right there. Very small bounce in the greater picture. What we do see here, and this catches my eye on this chart, well, this is pretty spicy. Our Fibonacci extension tool calling the bottom again. Wow, that's pretty wild. I don't think I even saw that. Calling the bottom again. $47 was our measured move target. Traded down to 31 and change. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. Kind of some notes on this chart on the monthly. We see very inefficient price action from April of 22 into May. These monthly candles straight down, no bounce. Price and market makers may be looking to fill in this gap of volume, and that'll range from 84 all the way up to 158. So if we can make it back to 84 this month, close above Q1, we may see Coinbase retrace substantially from its losses here. Even back to 238 is only the 0.5 retrace. That's pretty wild. You can see here 236, our shallowest retrace, is at 125, and that really puts it into perspective. $84, very reasonable target. This was where we consolidated and found resistance before moving lower, and a return to there is pretty likely if you ask me, especially with the way it's looking right now. This is why I love, this is the only thing I love about stocks. They really do seem to play TA more accurately, or at least more, they're better behaved. We see a very, very obvious symmetrical triangle bull flag breakout, and the price just followed. In crypto, if you would have seen this, I would have bet down. In stocks, I would have bet up. Not a lot of really interest there with that Fibonacci extension. We could say, well, it looks like we are approaching some resistance here as well at the $60 mark. Valid. We'll see where the daily settles up. I'd say above 60 or 61, and that $84 target's looking very prime. Very prime. Tesla. I couldn't go a day without bragging about it, right? Shut up about your Tesla. So we plotted Tesla out months and months and months ago. At the time, this seemed like a pretty unreasonable target. 98 or 100. Somehow in that time, week over week over week, we've seen lower highs, and we finally saw it collapse to 100. Now, this level is important for many reasons. One, it's a psychological level. $100, always going to be psychological. Same with 10, same with 1, etc. Looking back to 2020, we can see this was the first real consolidation or efficient price action we had into this rally. We found support, traded all the way to 415 before collapsing. Price has returned to that $100 mark, and for so many reasons, this is an amazing technical bounce. If we use our previous lower high, taking our low to our high, use our Fibonacci extension tool, our measured move sat at exactly $100. We have a horizontal, psychological level, and a Fibonacci extension all pointing at that 100. Beautiful. Beautiful. We also drew up this harmonic pattern, which I don't really use or trade. I believe this is called, what is this, extended bat or something like that? I don't know. Either way, this pattern seems to be playing out here. It seems to be playing out. We did have resistance at $165. That's where basically Tesla took off in 2020 there. We bounced it in November, and now price is back to backtest that resistance or that support as resistance. And in this day, it blasted through. Today. Blasted through it. This is pretty exciting, actually, for the Tesla stock. This is rather solid with what we've seen in tech sell-offs lately. This is a really strong recovery. From that $100 mark, it's up 75%. Wild. Just freaking wild. It does seem to be ignoring 165, and so the next upside target, using that same logic as coin, really just looking for that 618 retracement on a candle close above 165 today for Tesla. Congrats to anyone who longed Tesla at 100. That's well done. Spicy trade, my friend. Let me look at these indicators really quick. I'm getting alerts. Comp USD. You know, I just got it in real time right now, so why don't we check it very briefly. See what's going on. Man, my lips are so freaking dry today. It's like peeling. Anyway, Comp USD actually looking really solid here with this daily move. Really solid after flagging out there. Let's get these. God, I wish it would set it for all these when I change it. Flagging out all through January, breaking higher now to that $61 resistance, battling it, looking to break, in my opinion, today. That's pretty spicy. I don't even know if I remembered. Shout out to our sponsors, Bybit and Marketcipher. Sign up using my links to support the channel. Marketcipher, one of the greatest trading tools out there. Bybit, the #1 crypto derivatives exchange, in my opinion. If you're using them anyway, use my link. It'll help support the channel. Daily looks really strong on CompUSD here. I actually really like that. Really like what's going on there. Beautiful 3 candle setup on the week with 2 days and 6 hours to go. You can see this visibly smashing into previous resistance here. Setting a higher high is really going to set this chart up for some fun. VWAP on the day is coming down. Money flow is doing what we want it to do on the negative side, coming down and approaching that previous swing low. Money flow moves even just a little bit higher. We're going to be looking for this weekly to roll over, and weekly rollovers can be very explosive. Monthly looks almost identical to Bitcoin minus its lower or higher low, let's say. Reaching up to that monthly previous resistance. You're ready, buddy. Oh, you're ready. Skate Crypto Point becoming a bro. What's up, bro? Good to have you. Very similar. Reaching that monthly, goddamn, resistance. Breaking here, and comp is really clear to go. We have 121 above us. That's 100% gain from where we are right now. Sitting as our most local previous monthly support. We could draw from back here in November of 2020 and say $88. We could even line that up with our swing low in December and say 75. All of these are going to be good targets. Comp just needs a strong close today, and it's going to be gunning for some of these. I'm going to throw this fib on and then move on. Clip. There we go. 236 on the monthly right here. 236. It's almost too good to be true. Be weary. Be weary of pumps, guys. When things go up like this, long is the natural urge, but long and your emotions typically put you on the wrong side of the trade. For me, this is maybe I look to take a scalp short, or I don't trade it. No trade is often the right trade and best trade. It's just sometimes the hardest to take. All right, let's move on. I didn't mean to go into comp, but I wanted to look at gold. So gold is essentially in dollar value has been suppressed for years, maybe even a decade. Let's pull up the regular gold versus dollar chart and definitely get rid of this crap. Boop. All right. Suppressed for what looks like almost a decade, right? Trading up to $19.50 in dollars. It is consolidating here a little bit. That's not so spicy on its own. It's really just at the moment a lower high after another lower high and a slightly lower low. But we can get some perspective on this chart. This has been very bullish. In fact, breaking out of a parallel ascending channel, it seems the gold bulls are out to play. And I hate to say it mostly because I don't want Peter Schiff to have a smug laugh. God, that guy is just toxic. He's just toxic. His whole thing is just being toxic and getting engagement. Like half of crypto Twitter. Anyway, I think that we're going to see gold trade to 2,000 this year. Kind of not really a bold call as it's only a $90 change. That's about 10%, maybe less. But what catches my eye, and I said we're going to look at gold in a way you might not expect. Now, this is gold multiplied by essentially the Indian currency. I think it's the rupee. You can see this is a monthly chart, and month over month over month, this has almost never seen red. Minus 30% from 2011 to 2015. That's pretty much the only red time this has ever experienced. So what story is this chart telling us? It's telling us two things. Looking at gold USD, gold's been pretty stagnant. So gold isn't the motivating factor here. Clearly the rupee is the motivating factor, or the PKR. Fiat currencies being debased into what is a more finite asset than fiat. Gold is a more finite, but not a finite asset like Bitcoin. There is, in theory, infinite gold in the universe. There is a limited amount of gold on Earth, but we are very quickly reaching out to the stars. What's awesome about this chart is it is blasting off to new all-time highs. So we talked about this last stream with Bitcoin and different currencies. BTC versus GBP versus Euro, etc. And we said, this is maybe not what you're trading in, but this is giving us perspective into the way others may be viewing this chart. If you are in India, does seem like gold is where you want your money, doesn't it? You definitely aren't trying to chill in whatever PKR. Gold is a much better choice, it seems. As this blasts off into space, more investors are going to see this, and they're going to try to invest in as well to escape the debasing of their currency. When this happens, we fully would expect other currencies to see similar runs. Just the same as when Bitcoin breaks an all-time high versus, let's say, Troy, that may not impact the dollar pair as much, but more people are going to say, I got to get out of Troy. I got to get into assets. This is the exact same thing with gold. This is definitely showing us that we can probably expect, well, it's definitely showing us that currencies are devaluing because gold has been relatively flat. This is clearly caused by the devaluing of the PKR, and this is the inevitable death of all fiat currencies. This is not conspiracy, it's factual. Every fiat currency that's ever been invented has been inflated to death, and that is why we are here. That is why we Bitcoin. So a fun little study. Go look at assets against different currencies. Even if it's not your own, they can give you unique insight that is very valuable to trading and understanding the economic environment as a whole. Getting a little more centered to Bitcoin. Getting a little more centered. This is total crypto market cap, and it has some spice for us. So at the beginning of the episode, we looked at this chart and said 200 weekly above us, great upside target. 200 daily below us, great downside target. Closing above the 200 weekly on Bitcoin is going to be, I'll say, historically has always signaled an uptrend. Though we do need to kind of sprinkle in, Bitcoin's never done this before. It's never traded below the 200 weekly like this. So we don't know if it's going to recover to the 200 right away. We've never seen this setup. In the past, Bitcoin has traded below and instantly basically got bought back up. Now we are reapproaching it on the upside, and we likely are going to find profit taking. That is why this is such a great target if you have a position and you don't really know what to do with it. Great place to try to close or open a position. It's going to be that 200 weekly. Total crypto market cap differs from BTC, and it's interesting because this is rare. If you look at this chart, it really just looks like Bitcoin. We are above the previous all-time high, and when we zoom in, and maybe I'll put this on the weekly. Whoop, error. And when we zoom in, we can see it last week actually closed above its 200 weekly. Getting rid of this other one, this green line here. So this is kind of one step ahead of Bitcoin right now. Looking back, you can see very briefly tested the 200. We could say, all right, it did back here in March, but that was only 1, 2, 3 weeks closed below. Now we have multiple, many. Total crypto market cap may be signaling that while Bitcoin is below its 200 weekly, the whole market is not. And so maybe the whole market now has begun an uptrend. This is pretty spicy stuff. If we look to our weekly highs, we can basically see resistance just at, we'll call it 1 trillion, 1.026, close enough. And we've hit that on this week's trading. A close above the 200 weekly and a higher high next week, and we are very legitimately looking to target 1.14. This will pretty much clear the way. I mean, we have 1.3 above us from 2021's low, but escaping these highs from August is a very, very good sign that the market is, I don't want to say necessarily looking for a new all-time high, though I'm sure that argument can be made. I'm going to make a much more reasonable argument that it's looking to retrace to its 618. We have not seen a lower high scenario like we typically do. You could argue this is here on April, but this just wasn't enough of a rebound for me to really call it a lower high or a dead cat bounce there. This down here moving back to 1.745, this is going to be where it gets scary. It gets exciting and scary. Rejection from that level can paint a macro lower high, and we can go look to explore lower lows. This will be significant relief for the market. We have not seen significant relief on the crypto market. Really, last year was just down, sideways, with this tiny little 1-2 week exception. So this is where it's going to hit the fan. Let me put an alert. Alert set. So close. So close. The daily looks a lot better. You can see, there we go, it updated. Daily looks a lot better. It did test this as resistance on the way up. Nice and healthy, as we said. For Bitcoin, and this is mirroring, this is actually probably some sweet alpha here. Bitcoin underneath its 200 weekly. Total was under its 200. It found profit taking. It found sellers. We can see that by this wicking candle action. It moved lower before bouncing, retaking the 200. And here we go, consolidating above the 200 again. So what can we do? Well, we could probably make this argument. Not even going to guess at the entry here. This isn't tradable anyway. But we could really look to take a long position from our 200. And we could look to stop it below January's low. That's probably a little too obvious to me. I think if I were to play this, I would play it pretty tight. Looking for really any trading back below the 200 weekly to be a stop. And I would likely be targeting August's high. And if you're feeling real good, maybe even that 1.3 trillion. So this doesn't actually give you a trade because this is total, but this can give you a concept for almost any trade you're looking to take with the condition that the total market cap is above the 200 weekly. Try to find that somewhere else. I should be at Bitcoin by now, but S&P 500, we've been waiting on this chart to do something. We've seen lower highs all last year. We may have painted at the end of December, a higher low, and now retesting December's highs. A rejection here would be pretty ugly. You'll likely see basically price just meander back down to that 3,700 mark. But we have already closed 1 day and looking to close 2 days. Let me put it on the week. above 4,000, let's say, resistance. This is, in my opinion, with a break of just 4,100, we'll call it 4,100. Stop. I don't care, TradingView. I don't care if you're not going to function correctly. Just do it. With a break of 4,100, looking for a return to 4,300. We've been talking about it forever. And the beauty of it is this will paint out a very nice inverse head and shoulders potentially. That will be confirmed on a rejection of 4,300, a break again in a back test. That's likely where traders are going to look to take a position back long with the trend. S&P much spicier than it has been. I like where it's at right now. Marketcipher B on the day, higher momentum, higher VWAP. Coming down though, looks like money flow is catching with a higher low. I like it. I like it. I would not be betting against this right now. And this lines up really well with what we kind of brainstormed at the beginning of the episode. There's a 99.6% chance, says the market, that the Fed is only going to do a 25 BPS hike in February the 1st. That is going to be green for markets. However, since it's kind of already pricing in, any deviation from that to the up, or let's say any deviation higher, 50, 75, going to be pretty brutal for markets actually. As they price in 25, anything unexpected or higher is going to result in profit taking or selling. And if somehow the Fed comes out with 0 BPS, which I am skeptical of that, probably going to see a huge explosive rally, but that's very unlikely in my opinion. This is lining up well. I think that the timing is likely to be pretty decent too. We have how many more trading days in the traditionals? Oh crap, we only have 2 more days. We only have 2 more days before the Fed announcement in traditional markets. That's actually probably not enough time, right? How to read in between the lines here. God, I need like chapstick. Lips are driving me nuts. Okay, so let's get back into Bitcoin. We've gone over kind of the macros going on. We looked at coin, we looked at Tesla, we looked at comp randomly, gold, total, S&P 500. So let's get back to the corn. Let's get back to the good stuff. We've got 480 viewing with 200 likes, guys. Let's get 420 likes to get our license for the week, for the weekend, because you guys know you're going to want to be blazing it during the weekend, of course. Let's see. On the day, I've marked out here our weekly, monthly, and I believe higher up our quarterly resistance. These levels are taken from the swing high and candle closes on the respective time periods. Weekly looks like it's coming up very quickly. Or 20 daily looks like it's coming up very quickly. In fact, I would reckon by February, so in a few days, the 20 weekly will be above or at 21.3. That is our previous swing high. This was resistance. We consolidated below, broke above. Any selling, I would definitely expect to find some support at 21.3 as that 20 moves up. Let's take a look at our indicators. I have this marked out. I did a little homework before the stream. So the daily, this is the spiciest time frame right now. We have some conflicting signals that usually we would look at a little different, but we've seen this play out very recently, and so I'm expecting upside continuation. The reason being right here, money flow into January, rallied up, took what I'll call a little breather here. We saw VWAP trend down, and it took a little breather. Money flow did divot down, but price remained sideways. I tweeted, and I remember telling you guys, money flow on the daily, it looks like continuation for the uptrend. It looks bullish AF. It did. VWAP is still struggling. So usually we would say this looks a little weak. This VWAP is not really where we want it. However, we have a very similar setup. VWAP trended down. Money flow took that divot before moving higher. And the same thing is happening here. Money flow is divoting. Price is not really being affected. We could call this maybe money flow divergence. But it looks like, and it already actually has, pushed to a higher high on the day. I can get these tunes on. I feel like I'm yelling in a library right now. There we go. Pushed higher. This is a sign of continuation. Where would we look for continuation? Up here at the 200 weekly. We don't know how this is going to play out, but 25K, at least on the daily time frame, according to Marketcipher B, looking pretty grand. MACD, not so hot here with waning momentum on the day. It does look like it wants to roll over. That does conflict with what we were just looking at, unfortunately. And of course, on the daily, the dreaded bearish divergence that every bear is talking about right now. We have higher highs in price with our RSI coming down, and we have higher lows in price with our RSI coming up. So we don't have any bullish divergence on our lows, and we do have bearish divergence on our highs. So this is definitely a risky place to look to take a new position. If price rejects here into this week and comes down to 21.3, this could be a pretty prime opportunity to look to ride that up to the 25 level. But I think more successfully will be a position from the 200-day, just a little bit lower. And this is all on the assumption that we reject here, even though I think Marketcipher B looks pretty bully. Though we did see Crypto tweet that this was a bull flag again, and that's never good news. It's never good news. Really quick, let me look at this week. Weekly topping off their MACD, but right there flirting with a higher low. Could be looking for a rollover. Let's go down to the 12. Down to the 12. 12 hour, as beautiful as it has been. This is just awesome. If you look at the start of 23, I highly recommend you do this if you have Marketcipher B. If you don't, consider getting it. Use my link. Literally since the first candle in 2023, the 12 hour has been showing us a very clearly defined trend. That trend can be seen right here on money flow. As our highs have come up, our lows are coming up with it, and that's showing us continuation. This lines up with what maybe a little too zealously we're looking for on the day, and the 12 hour actually looks better. Our VWAP is coming back up, and that's actually despite the daily coming down. 12 hours still showing us signs of strength, but it does mirror the daily here with the higher high in money flow, and I like that a lot. That's very good. Again, kind of being abrasive to the day, the 12 hour maybe on its first waning selling momentum candle. Interesting, as price really has not seen any pullback. Waning selling momentum. Selling momentum was increasing, but unable to pull price down lower. That's some kind of bullish divergence. That's some kind. It's not a real one, but you could call it bullish divergence for MACD. Your lows have come up. Your swing lows on MACD have come down. I'm probably not going to call it that way, though. Very similar RSI on the 12. In fact, it's almost identical. You just have to really move our lines here. We have our highs coming down and our price highs coming up, and that's bearish divergence. We don't have bullish divergence on our lows, but there's one kind of factor that we should consider when looking at RSI, and this isn't talked about too much. The 12 hour, while we do have bearish divergence, it is remaining in overbought. It reached all the way up to 95, which has got to be one of the highest readings, maybe like ever on the 12 hour, because that does not happen. 95 is incredibly high. But instead of moving down back into normal RSI territory, it looks like it's bottomed out a little bit. Now, I don't love this pattern, as this looks like a flat bottom with descending highs. And so without a breakout and maybe a move higher on RSI, we are looking for this to dump. So if RSI returns or leaves overbought status, maybe a signal for traders who are scalping to close positions. We're not there yet. Let's go down to the 4. So as we zoom in, we're looking at time frames that are more likely to affect what's going on in this stream right now today. The 4 hour, back here when we were streaming the other day, we said this is looking to roll over. We have lower highs and we have our lows coming down, and it does look like it has reached down to do that. Does look like it's still signaling that. Our VWAP highs have come down. I'm starting to consolidate. Kind of ugly on the 4 hour. The 4 hour has remained in green status of money flow virtually for the entirety of this year. Flipped green on the 6th. Back here. Right about here. So we can see that 4 hour having a very big influence. I'm getting more alerts. Looks like FLUX USD. FLUX USD. Let me pull that up in a second. Let's actually go down to even smaller time frames. So This is something that you're not really going to get from other channels or maybe even other sources, because it just takes years and years and years to kind of draw this together. When I start getting these alerts on alts, I set them at resistances or just above or their previous swing highs. When we start getting these alerts and Bitcoin is kind of just chilling, like it is, ranging, usually that precurses some kind of move. Got to agree with the trend here. Got to be looking for that 200 weekly, in my opinion. So let's pull up Flux. Let's see what it's doing. I didn't plan any of this. I don't even know what Flux is. I don't even remember. We did this for Meekers back in February of 22. Our trade got stopped out. A lot of them did at that time. There we go. Flux breaking past November's high here with a solid 24% gain on the day. Nice. I don't really have anything marked out here, so let's use our fib tool. When in doubt, use the fib tool. Famous words I just made up. Our 618 retrace right above price. This is suggesting that maybe a long right now isn't the best idea. I think that we hopefully know that as a channel at this point. 25% day candle. Long usually not the choice. It could work out. It could blast to 141. Great. But your downside is now getting disproportionately larger than your upside with every percentage move up. Those are risky trades. Money flow looks pretty strong, actually, as we have a higher high in VWAP and momentum's coming up to match it. Yeah, bearish divergence. If you reject here, if you stop and start pulling back at 87 cents, you have bearish divergence on your daily highs. But we are still trending up, so we're not going to call that yet. I'm getting more alerts. Holy jamoli. I told you guys the spice was coming today. Those good numbers. Looking at the week, we might even be able to say 88.5, something like that. 88.5? How do we want to cut this? Very kind of murky levels here. Murky levels. Let's go to the month. Maybe it has something better. Okay, I like that better. The monthly, we're just going to defer to the monthly because we have too many levels right at the same price. Monthly's looking at $1. I'm going to say that's a great target. $, psychological level. It's our monthly rejection. We found resistance. Coming back up. To test as resistance again, perhaps. Let's move this. We haven't looked at this in a while. Strong support down from June's low at 42 cents. Nice, 42. Weirdly, somehow we have memed into existence 420 and 69 as psychological levels as well. We've memed them into existence. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we have. It's hard. This is hard to cut. These are so close. I think I'm going to leave the 618 here. It's 87 cents with a higher target at $1. This is dangerous, man. Look at that wick. Last time price approached this level, an extreme amount of sellers came in and pushed it back down 37% before close. Be careful. Be careful here. Let's set my alerts back. It's like processing. Kind of good news. If you can make it above $1, you do have a pretty clear runway to $1.41. And if we look higher, our Fibonacci extension. You're ready, my friend. I'm my hero. Can we check Adam, sir? We could check Adam. We could check Adam for you. Our 1618 extension, targeting $3, basically the previous all-time high. This chart's set up pretty strongly, with a big old gap between $1 and $1.41. But then strong resistance between that and $1.47 from this consolidation. Cool. I don't want to spend time on this either. I'm trying to find like a support, maybe 70 cents. From the week, we'd have to look all the way back down to 55. Now, we've been drawing this a lot, and we've been getting burned on it a lot. We haven't been seeing these back tests. But again, no trade or not having a trade filled is a winning trade. You didn't lose. Not losing is winning. Welcome to trading. Let's go back down. We have to get through Bitcoin quick so we can orient our compass fully for this stream. The hourly looking very strong here. Higher momentum, higher VWAP money flow, just entering positive on the hour. That could be suggesting a little tippy tappy to our top range. 23.3 under the 30. I see the same strength in the 30 as I did on the hour, but the 30 is kind of, let's say inside of the hour, the 30 is retracing. Money flow had a very weak upside move and now has returned to negative. Might be looking for here. 23.1 just below. Just reading in this 30 an hour. This is the price action I would expect. Momentum waning after a lower high, not showing a ton of strength on the 30. See the 15. 15 showing a ton of strength. I wish this momentum was higher, but money flow has surpassed its previous 2 highs, coming off of 2 lower lows. VWAP spiked there, and money flow is just trending up. VWAP looking to wrap around. 15-minute might not be looking for that retracement, interestingly. 15 minutes saying, no, screw the retrace, we're going. All right, now we're going to get down to the 5, and this may be what happens in the next few minutes. Let's find out. Money flow trucking up. Momentum's coming down. A little bit of a mid-read here. I do like the money flow. On our lows and highs for VWAP, we're just seeing basically price coil down or VWAP coil. No real sign there, so we're just going to revert to that money flow. 5-minute looking pretty dang good. 5 minutes saying that 30-minute might be full of it. Down to the minute. Please don't use the minute. Please don't use the minute. It's for crack kids only. 5 minutes just looks tough, though. Just looks tough. I'm seeing upside on these lower time frames. 5 minutes, I would say the 5 minutes looking for 23.250. Maybe a little pullback there. 23.3. The only thing I can't seem to find or explain here would be that 30-minute. That 30-minute is the only wrench in my plan right now. It's hard to say. It's hard. Everything's saying roll over on the 30, but then the 30 is also coming off very strong readings. Huh. I think this is the safe bet, honestly, for this stream. Gonna be a hard read. Okay, let's set my alerts tight, and we can move on. I'm gonna read the chat. I'm gonna go into the alts, etc. Let's orient ourselves, guys. Let me pull up the chat here. We've got 280 likes, 500 plus viewing. Let's get 420. Let's do it. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Happy weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. Let's get rid of this. We're going to take a look at a bunch of alts here. If you're here in the chat, I just pulled it up. Let me know. I see Julius Chirac. Like the video. Thank you, Julius. Julian. Death Shadow Tony Pacello. Adriani T1. Can I check KDA? Perhaps. Mr. Marks. Can we please look at DYDX? DYDX, they actually bought spot a little bit of weeks and weeks ago and then found out that the vesting schedule was about to dump. But I did hear that they delayed the vesting schedule, something like that. Here's the thing, guys. If it has a vesting schedule, it's not decentralized. And this is proof. They delayed the vesting. They said, okay, we're going to have to wait. We're going to hold off or whatever to release these coins, etc. What does that mean? It means that you probably shouldn't trust vesting schedules. You should be aware of them if you're invested in any coin that has one, but use this as an example where it's not blockchain, it's not set in stone. The inflation schedule is not set in stone like for Bitcoin. DYDX is a good example. There goes the chat flying. S&P 500 pumping. Oh yeah, baby. We looked at it. We were calling higher. It is pumping. There she blows. Steady, lads. Deploying capital. The S&P may hit 4,100 during this live stream. It may. God. You ever have that when your lips are really dry and they start like peeling? Got like a little peel I can't get off. Oh well, it's probably gross to do while I'm live, so I won't. Martin Carlson, what's that money flow graph called? Well, that's money flow, and you can actually find money flow on TradingView for free. It's nothing premium. Oh my God. There we go. I got it. Thank you. It's not premium, but Marketcipher is, and Marketcipher has many other things. I like the way it shows money flow better than the standard indicators, etc. You can use my link in the video description below if you want to check out Marketcipher. They do sponsor our channel. Who else said? What's up, Ellie? Denom. Smash the like, spicy hot. Andre wants to look at Thor. Mir. Great. Thanks, Mir. Good to have you, man. Up and run. XRP going to 20K today, says up and run. I mean, that's cool. If that happens, I'm a freaking millionaire. So I barely even have XRP. What's up, Leaf Bender? 10 pence. Sachin Patel. We're going to look at APT here in a minute. Nothing is decentralized by default. You know, there's some interesting deep questions to be answered there, because if you think about it as, well, if someone invents something and they're the first person to know about it because they invented it, it's not decentralized then. It's highly centralized. But there's too many nuances to go into for this live. What's up, Trick Shots? MLN Enzyme. Max supplies 2 million. Okay. You need to work to reach that state of optimal decentralization. Again, that's a deep concept. We get into that. I agree that things can either progress or regress in decentralization and that they can move towards either. I agree. Mr. Marks, your analyze is the king. Thank you, man. What's up, NBF forum? Let's effing go. Alien activity. What happens at 4100? Break 4100 and you look like you're painting an inverse head and shoulder on macro for the S&P 500, aka I'd probably look for continuation over the next few months. Cristana Ginuo. BTC pump is on. I like the energy. What's up, Pickle? What's up, Nate? Data analysis, dough. She like my TNA. She like my TNA. Weed fixes dry lips for sure. I'll have to test that after the live stream, Josh. TJ. Can we look at Agex, perhaps? That's got to hurt a little bit. What's up, Vesemir? My man, how you doing, dude? Peel those profits, gross. Kitty, is MATIC going to continue going up? You know, MATIC is actually one I got an alert from, so we probably will take a peek at it this live stream, but not yet. But not yet. Give you a little teaser though, just by pulling it up. We'll get into it. There's a few charts I wanted to look at. Random request, Ford, the stock or a coin? What's a good FUD expert? I too am a FUD expert. Love from Iran. Love to Iran. Pray for all your people. Awesome for chap lips. That's hilarious. TWT, please, chart guru crown. We could update it. All good. Good to hear, Vesemir. What are you seeing on the markets these days, Mr. Vesemir? No trade is the best trade most of the time. Agreed. What's up, Alchemist Hassan? Up and run. Crypto Birdie. Revolution 9 Chen. We think we bought at the same time? Maybe. All right, we'll pull up DYDX for that. Shout out to Kitty Kush and Zan Kang for subscribing. We also have to pull up Atomic for In My Hero. We'll pull that up. All right, but first we're going to get to the charts I want to look at because it looks like Atomic is just chilling, and it is. And by the ones I want to look at, I mean the ones that we have some updating to do. Let's look at OP quick. We charted this for the first time a few days ago. We identified 191 as solid support. OP broke through it. I think we were up here at 226. We said, well, going long here, just like we always say, not the advantage trade as we were coming off of a line of green candles. What we're going to look for is a back test of support, 191. Now, we did get skunked. Traded only down to 192.8, so we were a penny off. However, you can see that this was on the right track. Support bounced price. It did reach a higher high. Does look like we have a lower low or a higher low on the day. This is forming a pretty strong structure. If we had moved this up a little bit, anyone who took this trade likely closed in profit. And as soon as we closed in profit, it looks like price came back down. So I'm going to move that back because I don't want you guys to think that that was right. We have to learn from our mistakes here. When the market's bullish, you got to snipe above support, apparently. Money flow on the day not looking so hot for OP, though. That does contrast with what I'm seeing on the structure, though. This is what I'm seeing on the structure at the moment. Let's go to the day. Get rid of this on the day. There we go. What I'm seeing is one of our favorite patterns, and that's our lows coming up with a flat top. You got to use your imagination a little bit for where you think that flat top is. I'm going to call it at like 250. As long as our lows continue up, this is looking very good. Congrats to anyone who took this trade. This is probably a good time to remind you, though this trade was the right one, please do not blindly copy my trades. You will lose money. This is not for financial advice. This is to help you come up with your own trades and develop your trading thesis or trading plan and strategy. I can't stop you from anything else, but I'll tell you, it doesn't go well. Doesn't go well. XLM, no update there. Still ranging right below our short entry. ZZZZ. LRC broke through 31. Looks like we candle closed above. Next upside, 36.6. Might find support at a local daily down here at 29.5. Not a ton of interest actually there, but money flow does look strong on loop ring. This is a pretty sick call. Shallow retrace at 25.2. Broke to a higher high. Our fib looking for 35 cents, maybe 37. This is looking pretty solid. Now this I want to point out, the money flow here is way healthier than on OP. We see money flow came off a higher low on the day. It rolled over on the 18th. Now it's trending up pretty strongly. The only thing I don't like is this VWAP's a little tiny. Should be larger to be more confident. But then look at OP, which has just broken. I don't know. Is that an all-time high? Maybe. Maybe it is. I don't even know. Wait, we just looked at this and this wasn't that. Did I pull up something else? OP's money flow looks even better. Scratch that. I don't know what I was looking at, but this looks great. You have higher highs, higher lows. Very similar, I would say, to Bitcoin right now with your VWAP kind of pointing down despite money flow coming in. I don't know what time frame we were on. Maybe we were on like the 4 hour. It was the 4 hour. Never mind. Never mind. Alert set. Maybe I'll set this one too. Let's look at APT because everybody wants to see APT. I don't have any APT. I don't know what APT is. At this point, seeing our low at the beginning of the year at 280, now trading at 1820, I'm not a buyer. It's too late for me. You guys make your own decisions, but for me, I'm out. No thanks. I'd rather miss the Titanic than board it. 475, maybe 500% up from its low. This coin has set a new all-time high, at least as far as I can tell. It has moved, this was wild, to its 1618 and two measured move targets. It consolidated below its 1618 at 1482, broke higher 2 days ago, smashing its all-time high in price discovery to the upside. 1758 now looking as support on the day with these bottom wicks. Where would our next upside target be, man? 25 bucks. It gets harder from here. We've used the entirety of the chart and we've already hit our two measured move. So what do we do next? We could look at the 3. I could take this wick that isn't real and do some real hopium, if that's what you guys want. Some real hopium. Interesting. So if we use that wick, which I don't really believe to be real, but we'll use it anyway just for kind of a study. Our 236 retracement. So this is in theory just beginning to retrace at 25, overlapping pretty well with our 3 extension. That might not be a bad target. If you want moon targets, there you go. Let's call it 63. 618 retrace of $100 down to 270. I would be weary using that wick on any analysis. Any wick like that, if it's the first day of trading specifically, usually is not real price action. It's basically price started trading, let's say at $1. There was no liquidity to the upside. Someone had a sell order at 100, a little bit of liquidity knocked it to 100, came back down. It's just not very real. It's not very real. Daily looks strong on APT. Doesn't look weak. Money flow's coming up. That's not bad. Weekly very strong. I'm still of this opinion. You have $10 right here. I'm getting a deja vu flashback actually. And we'll look at this, we'll look at it too, because I haven't in a while. Link. Getting a deja vu flashback from like 3 years ago when Link broke $5 and I said, I'll buy Link at $5. Got very close. I don't think it hit 5. I'm getting a flashback here. I'll buy APT at $10. It may take 3 years. Who knows what it'll do? Maybe it goes all the way up there. $10. I'm making it so the market comes to me or not at all. I'm okay sitting this one out. APT is not the only thing that will run. It's not the only thing that will break all-time high. By chasing coins at all-time high, you're basically putting your asset at the biggest downside exposure with limited upside exposure. And what really happens in a bull run, if we're in one, knock on wood, is you'll see retail jumping into something like APT right now. It's up 500%. APT then will, this is in theory, trade sideways for like, let's say 2 weeks. It's trading sideways. Then something else runs. Retail goes, oh, I'm going to miss the boat on that. So they jump from this position where they're likely at somewhat of a loss into another position that's 500% up. It does the same thing. It chills out. It trades sideways until they jump onto the next one. This might sound silly, and you might be saying to yourself, I would never do that. That's dumb. Mark my words. If we're in a bull run or whenever the bull run returns, you will see that exact behavior repeated like clockwork, and it will boggle your mind now that you know it happens. You might have done it yourself back in the day. That's okay. You might have even done it recently. Use my experience to your advantage. That is my best advice. That cycle of chasing the pump is what lets people like exit the bull market with like a 20% gain or something maybe, when if they had just done nothing, they'd likely be up hundreds of percents. Good reminder, no trade is often the best trade. Just going to pull up ADA, no chart, don't need it right now. We're looking for one for 41.6. Maybe we're going to be a little more conservative and target the 200 weekly or 200 daily at 39.6. But I'm looking for a test there. Don't know what happens if it breaks through, which Marketcipher be on the day, suggesting it might with a strong money flow here. At least tested at 39.6. The boss for ADA remains unchanged at 41.6. You break that and things look very good. Very, very good. We have our short trade set up there at that macro previous support. Looking for it to be tested as resistance along. Sitting down at 31.1. Hoping to play out some chop price action. This would be very, very nice. Very, very nice. Let's go to FTM because it's also something that's been moving since our last stream. If we look to the left, May 22nd at 52 cents is still untapped, but FTM has broken. We didn't get that back test again, but broken out of its structure. And this just looks glorious. We originally were hoping for this inverse head and shoulders setup to play out, and we would need a back test of 27.2. We didn't get it. That's what I was saying earlier. A lot of this has, a lot of these trade setups have been skunked by not filling, but that is good. It's better to not fill than to fill crappy position. Since the weekly is looking to close in 2 days above 38.7, we'll find out at the close. But since it's looking to, we might be able to infer another trade if TradingView will stop being a dick. Fat chance of that, but there we go. It does not like logarithmic. It doesn't like the logarithmic charts on TradingView. We may look to adjust our trade. We may look to adjust it. Instead, looking for a larger inverse head and shoulders. You see how that basically overlaps. It's almost the exact same looking thing for that same play. You can even see we had it drawn out over here. Without that back test of support, we don't have the structure. We don't have the pattern. We don't have the entry. It could just do this. Sure. It's possible. And maybe even come down and return afterwards. The upside isn't necessarily defined in that pattern. But this, regardless of how you cut it, this is awesome looking. It's awesome. Almost any trade could be taken, and you can use those potential necklines as stops or entries, whichever you deem to be more effective or more preeminent. Money flow on the week starting to shape up, except VWAP's coming down. Stop conflicting. On the day, I see strength, but a little bit weaker than the rest of the market. That might make sense. I'd expect some kind of pullback on FTM before a move to 74, but it does look like 74 cents is in the cards. 38.7 would be that logical spot I would look for. I think that this is pretty good. We're going to catch one of them. Might not be this one, but we're going to catch one of them. That's for sure. Someone wanted to look at Thor, but we're going to look at VET instead because it's really the same chart. We look to go long at 1.93 cents on VET. We got just skunked again by a quarter fraction of a penny, and our trade was on point, trading to higher highs and now breaking this descending high trend. 2.69 cents is our upside target for a clean 38% take. I like it. Daily looking strong. I don't say this is a problem necessarily, but the only thing that I don't love about this chart is since we do have that back test, if we come back down to 1.93 cents, now we can start painting an ugly pattern like this, using 1.93 cents as our neckline on a regular head and shoulders, and that might suggest continuation in lower lows. But at the moment, VET following the market, I don't see a reason to bet down at lower lows yet. We'll go over XRP quick too, because I don't know, there's people who tune in just for XRP. Shout out to you guys. XRP, we said in the last stream, looks good, and boy did it. We finally landed a trade on this. We didn't get stopped out. 36.88 up to 41.7. You can see price has chilled there now. And we even look to take, I said this is a FOMO. I'm not going to take this, but with the way the market's been, I don't know how else to trade it. We look to take a long, and you can see this might have been ill-advised. Well, I don't advise, but might have been the wrong choice. Maybe not. We have not been stopped out yet, but our entry, seemingly daily resistance now at 0.17. That's the risk you take when you go long at resistance. So this was not the normal smartness that we look for, but it may still work out. 51 cents above us. Maybe we should just call it 50 because that's likely to be what actually interacts with price, psychological value. And looking left, this is a pretty historical number to XRP's chart. Likely to find resistance and profit taking at 51. I'd probably front run it in a position, look for 49.9, 49.8, something like that. Money flow looks good. Nice healthy pullbacks with higher highs. All we have to do is see that continue on. And 51 cents will actually be a very low target if that happens. But I think XRP still looks pretty darn good. Mostly because of its moving averages. Did I do this right? I did this right. Sweet. So that stop loss, that position wasn't random, though there was a little randomness to it. Basically, looking to set our stop below the 100, 200, and 20 daily moving averages right here at 39.2. This is a very strong moving average setup. You don't get this often. And some of the largest rallies I've seen in crypto start with this. That doesn't guarantee it, but it gives us an invalidation condition. If it loses these moving averages, which is great because they're all bunched up, if it loses them, if it trades below and closes, we want to be out of that position. It was a scalp position anyway. That's right where our stop is. As long as it remains above, similar to the bullish kiss I've invented, we have a great upside trade. Great upside trade. Little interesting note here. This, I don't know, don't take this too seriously, but something I just noticed. When the 100 crossed bullishly with the 200 in November, price dumped right through it. 100 looking to kiss the 200 here. I wonder if the 100 will actually trend below the 200, cross bearishly, and move up. That would be actually really interesting. I'm a chart nerd. I'm just nerding out about charts. I'm going to keep my eye on that for sure. Faux show. I'm going to look at Litecoin, then I'm going to go back to the chat. I love Litecoin. It's my, it's number 2 in my portfolio now. Again, back at number 2, baby. Whew. Looking for a scalpy trade off this descending high trend. Looks like our entry was solid. 86.6. Stop you could use just below January's swing low here on the 19th. Or maybe more reasonably look to enter long at 49.40 if it comes. But basically targeting the next upside major resistance at 121. Our trade, no real change here as we've just traded sideways, but I think this looks good. This looks very good. You found resistance at the trend, you broke it, now you're dancing on it. Invalidation can be very quickly found below, but I'm looking for that move to 121 with probably some kind of consolidation at 100. That's probably what I'd look for. That would continue this pattern and even probably follow this trend line here that I just doodled of higher lows. Litecoin, I've been saying it forever. It's going to surprise everyone someday. I drew this out, and I didn't even plan on talking about it right now, but it just popped up. At the moment, this is what I think the market will do. I can promise you it won't look like this. And I hope I'm wrong. But this is what I'm looking for until proven otherwise. There's good news and there's bad news. Maybe it's all just good news. The good news is it very much suggests that this quarter is going to have continuation to the upside. If we're on log, that would likely be at like 39K. But I honestly think that that might be too little. There we go. Until proven otherwise, this is what I'm looking for in price action. There we go. That's too high. Gosh darn it. I hate regular charts, man. Is that right? Close enough. Either way, from a regular chart, we always use log here, but just using regular for study. Retracing to our 618. 48K. Honestly, 48K is just the pivotal price point. I said that in 2021 when I took a short at 48 here, held it all the way down here. Returning to 48 would be the sufficient dead cat bounce. This would mirror 2019's price action, and I guess the good news is that could suggest as high as 48. If we reach 48, you better believe I won't miss the short again. I missed it on the way down. Despite talking about it for many streams, I forgot to set it. I'll definitely nail this one. And that might suggest that we return to our lows before moving into, and the timing is pretty good here, into a new all-time high. So I can guarantee it won't look like this. But this is the concept I'm looking for, which is essentially we're either in a dead cat bounce and likely we'll see this kind of price action. Let's zoom it back. All the way back. All the way back. Sorry for the seizures. Which could suggest as high as 50. Pulling back to a higher low. Anyone's guess where that is. Before slowly recovering, retesting your all-time high and moving higher. If we're just going to look at this as our upside target, that would give us 175K for the next all-time high. Is what it is. This is just a way to look at the chart. It's what I'm looking for at the moment until proven otherwise. And what would prove me otherwise would honestly be trading significantly above 48K, obviously breaking 69K, giggity, or moving lower and breaking 15.5, which is not in the probability favoring right now for me. So here might be your glimpse into the future, or it might just be gibberish that doesn't play out. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart and I'm going to pull up chat. There we go. Let's keep an eye on her. Put it on the 1 minute so we can be real degen. All right. We have some new subscribers. Eyes Opening 360. What's up, my man? Mohammed Dafala. Welcome. Rise Scarce. Is that it? There's only been 3? I know we gotta have more people who aren't subscribed in the chat. If you're not subscribed and you're in here and you hear my voice, hit the subscribe button. We have 642 votes. 71% of us think 25K before 19.6. I'd probably agree. What's up, Sidvada? First time watcher. Good shit. Thanks, man. We've been here for, I don't know, 4 years-ish. All we do is look at charts. We keep it chill. We don't get hype. We don't FOMO. We don't yell about 1000x gem coin whatever's. Like, my goal is to help you guys through my experience of trading. I'm not always right. I'm not a guru. I'm just a dude. I love charts. I'm a nerd. I love crypto. I've been doing this forever. And I didn't like the content that I found on YouTube when I was learning. And so I decided I would make my own. And here we are. But it's good to have you, man. Good to know that YouTube's feeding us to new eyes. Highly recommend you jump in the Discord. You'll get free airdrops after our live streams every time we stream, which is every other day. Scheduled out. And it's the best way to keep up with our lives. Let's re-examine the 5. Still strong. The 30-minute might just be getting an FU here. I don't want to say I knew it, but I knew it. Nothing was agreeing with the 30. Now we're seeing what could be a very, very weak move to the downside on money flow after a very, very weak move to the upside. And that's targeting 23.3 to say the least. 5 minutes beastin'. Yeah, boy. 15-minute beastin'. Beast mode activated. Hourly now starting to show that rollover too, though, which I don't like. But 2 hour is telling me not to worry about it. Here we go. There we go. All right, back to the chat. Guru Tom, no. No. What's up, Robert Demeter? You're awesome, dude. Thank you, my friend. You're awesome. Loading name, Pumpin'. Pumpin'. Pump it up, pump it. Analysis goes hard. Chevy Vlogs. Yes, it does. What's up, Era Random? Good to see you, brother. You just got here. Did I look at H-bar? Did not look at H-bar. Can we look at DYDX? Gosh. Is it just the one person asking over and over? Or were there many people asking? DY. Nope, just 9chen. 9chen. Should 600 people look at a chart because you want to look at it is the question. Let me know the answer. Make sure you've liked, subscribed, smashed the poll. Crown's Crypto Cave is the OG. Crown, great analyst. Great dude. Love to meet him. Never met him. Happy Friday. Cake, please. Sub-Zizo Loach. Ryan. Olegeni. Let's go. Let's go. KDA again. You're my guru. I'm not a guru. Get out of here. Get out of here. Am I looking at Algorand? Perhaps. Perhaps. You're the first. What's up, Daniel? VRA. VRA is in the title, so I am legally obligated to look at it. Not actually, but that's just what I say. Ever heard of Flux? Dude, Civada. That's funny, man. We literally looked at it today for the first time. Ever, maybe. Well, not first time ever, but we literally looked at it today. And for you and all the new viewers here who aren't familiar, this will be timestamped at the end of the stream. So when it's over, if you refresh, you can go back. You can find whatever charts you missed. Also, after the live stream, if we didn't get to the coin you wanted, so for instance, where was he? For instance, 9chen. If we don't look at DYDX, comment in the video comments after the live, hashtag DYDX. I do read every comment on the videos, and if you do that, I will, I won't say I guarantee I'll look at it, but it will increase the odds of looking at it in the next stream, because we can't possibly get to all of them. VRA is just chilling. Hasn't hit 009, let's see, hasn't hit 1 cent yet. We did get a nice little tippy-tappy at 0.55 support, the tippy-tap support. Day looks strong. Day looks strong, coming off that bullish engulf. It did break our this flat top pattern. Unfortunately, you can see price rejecting from it. It does look like it found support. I don't really have a read on this right now. Still going to be looking for 1 cent. From 1 cent, since we already touched 0.5, we might not move back to 0.05, but I think that's still a logical progression of price to look for. Maybe a slightly higher low off of it. Yeah, we looked at Flux. Wild that someone would like ask about it today, like after we looked at it. And spicily enough, since we looked at it, has actually hit 8755 almost on the dot 0.8753. Does not look done, does it? Ooh. Maybe like this. I'd rather take a position from here, then try to long here. Might even try to short here. Bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. Lower low there. I just got an alert. Back to corn. Boom. Low time frames playing out, son. Let's go. 23-3. We can do it. Smash the likes. Get hyped. Let's go. Get hype. Doge, 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 Doge. Doge, Doge, Doge. ENS. Short now, says Lord Pablo. I don't think so. Not me. I'm not. You guys trade how you like. I still have my long open. And I ain't closing it. I ain't closing it, son. Speaking of that, I should probably just pull that up and show you guys the update. It's kind of tedious to update this live trade because nothing's changed, but let's update it anyway. Okay. Our long from 16.5 remains exactly at 16.5. I definitely did want to update for one reason, because over time I'm telling this story and showing you guys how markets move. This isn't the only factor moving markets, but it's one that is always prevalent. And something that I, not until recently, even understood the concept of. So while holding this long open, I've now paid $84.50 just to keep it open. The trade is $4,200 in profit for almost a 250%. So that's not the end of the world. But what does that mean? It means that when I started this trade, I could have had my stop. It was opened at 16,575. I could have my stop at 16,576, and it would have been break even basically. As I've held it, funding has continued to eat away at my position. Funding currently 0.01 positive, so I'm paying 0.01 every 8 hours to keep this open. But what's happening is while this eats it away, essentially my break even line is moving up. It originally started at the open, and as funding continued to eat it, it's going to keep inching up over time. And what that does is that's anyone who opened a position at this level. The same thing is going to happen. Stops are going to either be moved up or else they risk not being in profit if they close suddenly. But what that's doing is it's moving liquidity up into higher prices. So a sell-off eventually can snap all that liquidity and stop out the longs that were opened all the way down here. So let's do as we do. Let's move this up. I need to break even 85. So let's say 740. I don't quite need that. Now this is 100, so it'll be $10 in profit. Sure, whatever. You can see that barely moved it. But if I was on higher leverage, etc., this would be moving up faster. This is only at 6x. So you can see that while it started at 16,575, my break even is now 16,737-ish. That's just a concept. Stops are always moving towards price, regardless if that's up or down. And that is a big factor in the market. Big factor. $5 or $5 candle. 5-minute candle. A little bit of red here, but we can see a money flow and VWAP now. We were looking at this kind of consolidation. It looks like it broke to the upside here with this higher VWAP. Money flow trending very strongly to the upside, suggesting even though we have this 5-minute candle that's red now, it might not be done. $15 saying, yes, that's exactly correct. 15, as strong as it was when we first looked at it, just pushing higher highs there. Beautiful. The 30-minute was the stickler, the one that didn't really have a good read, kind of was arguing or being like the devil's advocate in the other direction. Look at that. I said I don't really believe the 30-minute, even though I probably should. I didn't believe it, and look at this. Momentum may be rolling up again. We had a really weak money flow roll on the 30-minute. Sold off. That's where the skepticism came from. But look at this. No one would have really been able to predict that. Virtually the same weak response on the sell side. VWAP's pointing up now. The 30-minute basically just faked us out. This is going to be a much higher low and a much lower high. All we have to do is push up past that previous high, and the 30-minute is all of a sudden in a very strong condition. MACD popping up here with increasing momentum out of nowhere. I like that. 30 seconds to close. I want to see this close. Maybe I'll even leave it up. I want to see it close with positive momentum. Joshua Carrero. U.S. government is going to print new $100 bills with Walt Disney on it. Really? Is that true? Why? True or not? Sounds believable. You got me. You got me. There we go. Into the close. We're seeing it pump up a little more. All it has to do is close above right here, and it's cutting it very close. Very, very close. Boom. Increasing momentum. Let's see if that's going to continue. Beautiful. Beaut. VWAP still trending up. We didn't look at the 45. Nice. Higher high, lower low. Weird, actually. Expanding. I do like this VWAP catch. Any move again up after a return to the zero is usually very strong. Very strong. 45-minute momentum bands aren't even pinched. 45 is saying this ain't over, baby. Don't count it yet. Don't count it. Hourly trending higher, but that VWAP is putting pressure on the downside for sure. Momentum eclipsing its previous momentum high, continuing a string of increasing momentum candles. This looks pretty good. This looks good. With 72% expecting 25K before 19.6, what I'm seeing right now is likely agreeing with you. Likely agreeing. Let's close that poll, but don't forget to smash the likes and subscribes. Share the stream. It's a spicy day. Y'all didn't think it'd be a spicy day, and now it is a spicy day. I'm gonna refresh this chat box. It's frozen. Steven Minsky just subscribed. Welcome, Steven Minsky. Thanks for being here, watching our low time frame calls come to life. Good to have you, man. Your plug F. What's up, man? Darren, how you doing? Baxter, Churchill, Baxter. You know I don't speak Spanish. There we go. Boom. 23-3. Ta-da. 23-3. Didn't go the path we thought it would, but we were in the right direction. Our low time frames, if you go back to the beginning of this episode, were telling us this was the probable move. The probable move. And it happened. Up against monthly resistance. Still not a higher high yet, though. Still not. Let's use our fib tool. Click right at the 618. Not what we wanted to see. Boo. Definitely not what I was hoping to see. That's okay. Right back at our 618 retracement. This is typically a spot of profit taking. Moving past it, usually a good sign for continuation. That's overlapping basically perfectly with our horizontal here. Our low time frames weren't showing weakness, but maybe they're about to. Let's see. Not on the 5. Not yet. Not yet. We may be looking for higher. 23.5 is our next retracement, our 786. And as price touches it, if it does hit it, the probability of breaking to the upside becomes higher. 23.8. I'm getting goofy there. 23.8. Our 2 measured move on a break of 23.8, looking just below that 200. Is it just below or just right around the 200 weekly? Let's make another box up here. Real quick. Break your high, look for the extension. Classic. Classic. We're still far away. Still far away. We don't know if it's going to break the high, but our low time frames are looking pretty primed. I don't know what the argument is against it, to be honest. Doesn't seem like there is one. Chilling out at resistance. Go ahead. Go ahead, little guy. Do your thing. Beautiful. Polygon, please. Anyone in a short right now? I'm still long. You get, can I check ICP? What's up, Crypto Billy? What's up, Flat Smack? CY wants YFI. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. I guess I could pull it up. Nice when old charts are still holding true. 8,056 looks like resistance on the day. Been tested. Technically a higher low if we can get a retest on it. Next upside target 10,500. Boom. Support below at 6,000.
YFI, please, sir.
Daily looks decent. Looks decent. 12-hour beastin'. Everything's in beast mode. Everything is in beast mode. This is a pretty easy trade for invalidation. You're looking for higher lows. You're looking for multiple tests of 8,050. Could see it play out like this. Could see it play out straight up. Basically, I would say any trading below here and this pattern is bonked. and we throw it away. 7,187. Throw it away after that. It technically could go a little lower and not break it, but that's probably where I would be looking. Set my alerts. I'll know. Said I'd look at MATIC because MATIC did make a move. Finally removing its stablecoin status at $1, it seems. Pushing up to 127.5 to match that previous high in November. It's a pretty important level. You've likely built support below around 93. This is hard to chart because it's been so sideways. I will say it's been hard to chart because it's so sideways, but at the same time, if you look at this structure on MATIC, this has done extremely well. It hit its low in June. It bounced a remarkably 3x off of June's low, and now it's just held sideways. This is a pretty strong setup. It's really cooled off. It probably caught a lot of FOMO back there in June, and it's cooled off and gotten basically, as I was describing earlier in the episode, let's go, fam. Let's go. Those low time frames, they're not lying today. Described earlier with kind of the cycle of things pumping and people running into them and then saying, oh, it's not moving, and they see something else pump, jump into that. MATIC probably has shaken the hands out of that FOMO trade by now. And Bitcoin just ripping and roaring. Let's go. 650 viewing. LFG fam. Man, it's been like 2.5 hours. Whew. I don't want to end the stream because we're pumping hard. Smash the likes and subscribes for the pump. For the pump. Get after it. Looks like we're testing the 23.5. I do have to. Really quickly, fam. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to hide my camera. Don't go anywhere. If anyone asks, I'm still here. I got to run to the bathroom really fast. Let's go. We're about to hit that full retracement. Update coming in 1 minute. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. We're not done. All right. We're back. See, that was fast. That was fast. I was hoping it would hit 23.5. In the meantime, it didn't yet. These, I have my phone playing it. These low time frames are just wildin'. This 5 minute was a dead giveaway. I will say, guys, I expected upside from the low time frames. We were talking about that earlier. But I did not necessarily expect this. I am not complaining, but I did not necessarily expect all at once to break these ranges. The 15 minute is showing no signs of slowing down yet. We're really waiting for this 30 minute to be fixed. And we're getting really close. Getting real close. Here's the good stuff. So since we pushed up a little higher, the good news, I was a little worried about this. 618 retrace, horizontal resistance. I was a little worried about rejecting there, but when I say worried, it was like this was likely the path. That would have been clean. But we pushed past it and we've reached towards that deep retracement, and this is good. This is very good. As it hasn't quite hit it yet. I don't want to call the gun. I don't want to jump the gun. It hasn't quite hit it yet, but on a test of this level, it is showing strength on the bullish side. Sellers are being outmatched by the buyers. We're close. We're close. We're not quite there yet. We don't really have a triangle. It's like vaguely a triangle, though. Vaguely a triangle, perhaps? Vaguely. It doesn't fit my definition of triangle because its lowest point, its highest point and its lowest point aren't connected by one move. It's really close. You can see these lows are very, very similar. But this is a higher low into the highest point in the structure, so it doesn't really fit the Tom Crown definition of a diamond. But it may still. It may still. I do this. Do a little experimental TA here while we have a minute. 17-degree angle. Hold up. This is why you watch. Here we go. A nice 17-degree angle. I'm just gonna do a little. You know, this is how we advance our TA. This is how we advance, by trying out new stuff. So we have a 17-degree angle on the upside here. I'm going to place a 17-degree angle with a exact same bar length of 216 bars. We will see if price interacts with that descending line simply because it is the mirror angle. Nice. Nice. So this 5-minute has pulled back again. I'm liking where it pulled back to. Basically 23.3 on the dot, right at that previous resistance it blasted through. A bounce here, holding this low. Very exciting. Very exciting for low time frames. Let's call it like that. See something like this, just below the low, below the horizontal, risking 0.26 for 0.77, 3 to 1. Might get stopped out here. Yeah, who knows? Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna yell at you. Don't do it. Get away. Bounce from support. Get away. Go up. Go up. Go up. Everybody chant go up. The collective will push it up. What's up, 13 Fauji? Subscribing. Good to have you. Lefterus A. Subscribed as well. No! No! And we're stopped. Womp womp. Oh, it moved below support. That's not great. That's not bad. That's not great. But we got stopped. Good thing that was too quick for anyone to try to copy it, probably. Haha. No. No. Damn. Not gonna lie, that top wick is pretty intimidating here on this 15-minute candle. With 30 seconds to go, it almost looks, on that break of support, almost looks like it wants to close as a hammer, a red hammer. That would not be great. It wouldn't throw out all of this bullishness on lower time frames, but it certainly would not be good. Certainly would not be good for continuation. The 5-minute is not really phased by this, which is excellent because that was one of the, boom, there it is. 15-minute candle called live. 1 second to go, closed green. Okay, closing green here, not the end of the world. That top wick is definitely indicative of selling pressure, but closing green here really does save that candle. If it had closed red down at its low, that would be incredibly bearish. But what's basically just happened here with this wick is yes, sellers came in, they pushed down price, but because it closed green, there was still a disproportionately larger amount of buyers and sellers, volume-wise. And what it did is it rallied up this caught in new long positions, closed short positions, closed green. And so what it's done is it's basically cleared out the order book here on a low time frame. And what that can do is make it much easier to move price back through right to that high. So we do see sometimes this kind of as a prep for a run. I think the Hashinaki candles are likely, yes, the Ha candles, likely an easier way to visualize what I was just talking about. On these Ha candles here, you can see that they close either red or green, right? That's the end of the lesson. I'm just kidding. But what Ha candles want are moves up that do get sold off, but don't break the trend. So high wicked candles on green here is actually a good sign for Ha candles. If this had closed red on the 15, this likely would have been a high wicked red candle on Ha, and that would be showing or highlighting its bearishness. So for instance, right here, this was a similar price action, closed red, boom, kept moving lower. We do see this example here. I guess both of those were kind of Darth Maul sabers, though. We see these tall wicked candles that move price higher and higher. So while this could be more bullish, I don't like the top heaviness there. We could say, well, even though our trade got bunked, I don't recommend this. Even though our trade got bunked, we could say, if it continues, if we trade lower than that last candle close, our trade is wrecked, is invalidated, is thrown out. So that gives us something to trade off of. This is probably not a good one. Already invalidated. We're going to get hammered twice in one stream. Oh well. We've had a lot of winners lately. Got to have some losers. Every trader loses. If you're a trader and you're not losing, you're lying. Or you just haven't traded nearly enough. You've only made like a few trades. You don't have a big enough sample size. Riggedy wrecked. Riggedy wrecked. All right, you've stopped us out twice. Oh, wow, I placed that above my previous stop. This was an example of trying to trade too quickly and stupidly. Should never have had my stop here and then tried to open again right above my stop. It's really dumb. Really dumb. That's what you get for not thinking through. I didn't really have a trade thesis other than an invalidation. All right, our low time frames that were looking strong still do. We do have a lower VWAP swing here, but look at money flow. Money flow looks remarkably like these previous kind of little dips. As long as it stays above here, it's still trending up. And at the moment it is, even with this nasty candle. 15, maybe starting to pinch. That'll look a little worse. So at the start of this episode, a lot of these VWAPs were pointed up. Now we see on the 15, it's pointing down. It's reaching towards that 0 line. 5, it is down. It is still pointing down. And weirdly, okay, so the 30-minute was the one pointing down when we started. Everything else was up. Now the 30 minutes pointing up. We're seeing like a seesaw between these time frames. They've switched places very quickly. I'm just going to get rid of these. Money flow still coming up. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced on the sell-off. Not with money flow coming up on the hour. And the 2. What do you guys think? What's up, Sultan Shakir? What's up, my dude? Thanks for subscribing. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now so I can shout you out. If you're trading, I recommend Bybit. They sponsor our channel. I trade there. The #1 crypto derivatives exchange. Remember, it is a centralized exchange, so practice caution. Even if I like it, doesn't mean it's immune to everything. Of course, trade responsibly. Use risk management practices. Don't use leverage if you don't know what you're doing. Easy peasy. But if you do want to use it, sign up at Bybit using my link. Help support the channel. Costs you nothing. You'll even get up to $30,000 in new deposit User bonus. I'm so bad at chilling. 4 hour. So the 4 hour was the most threatening from this stream and last stream. It was looking to roll over. It still is. It still is. But I'm going to be paying attention right here on the 4 hour. We're really zoomed in, but we had a low that is now eclipsed a previous high. So this is the inverse of really what we were just looking for. And we want to see this continue up. The only reason I'm really looking for it right now to let you in on my thought process is this VWAP is looking to match or exceed the previous high here. And that, sir, is a bullish. If it makes it. But it's hanging on to hope. Ba-ba-ba-bam. 5 minutes sold off, kind of back to that previous resistance. We can see even the middle of this channel we've drawn. See alerts. FLUX, Comp, Coin, Tesla, Ocean. Ocean. Let me look at Ocean. Ocean's been a little weird. What is up?
The conductor on this runaway train trying to keep the carriages as empty as possible, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's keeping it empty. He's a keeping it empty. Love you, Steve. Love you, brother. Steve's been with us as long as I can remember. We've been through the bad times. I think we're on our way to the good times again, my friend. Ocean BTC at resistance. Interesting. I got an alert on this yesterday, but it's at resistance. If it closes above, we can talk about the next one. But currently battling it. Get out of here, TradingView. Battling it. And that doesn't necessarily bode well for the USD pair, though it doesn't exactly say that it has to reverse. We got a short at resistance as we do. Got stopped as they do. Let's move this off so we can see better. Still there. 3 days ago, wicked high to 52 cents. Spicy. That looks like it was at during Bitcoin's high. I keep forgetting I'm out of alerts. So, how did it close? Could close today. Could close today above. Good news for this coin, which I don't know if I have any of. And if I do, I think it's very underwater. Targeting this close above 36.6 cents, you have very little in your way up to 75. Very little. You can see the macro inflection, pivots, etc., like reversals, all at that 36.68 or 75 cents on the dot. This would be my upside target. I would feel much more comfortable on that upside target if we had this. But we keep getting skunked on that. That doesn't mean you should trade or change your trading. Shouldn't try to kind of panic adapt. We're still going to look for the correct trades, even if we keep getting stopped out. That's what stops are for. Also, don't forget, guys, you always can just trade spot. If you ask any crypto OG, people who have been in the space for years, what do they trade mostly? They'll say spot. They'll almost certainly say spot. The reason being is people who only trade leverage don't tend to make it 5, 6, 7, 8 years in crypto. It is very hard to get liquidated on spot. In fact, it's almost impossible. It's not possible, but it's almost impossible. But you can make it impossible by managing risk with your position size instead of your leverage or stop loss. Not going to go into it now. Ocean looking pretty good, though, for 75 cents. Whether that's sooner or later, I do not know. I do not know. What else went off? SPX, MATIC, we did. BTC, GBP. That was 2 days ago. Nothing spicy there. I think that's all the alerts. I think that's all she wrote. Let me see. 30 minutes into this hour. Let's get rid of everything. Nasty top wick. 4-hour nasty top wick. Looking for a close today above 23.61. This can be a pretty healthy close. 22.927. Previous support. Don't want to see a trade back down to there. Trading back down to there. Not a great sign. Definitely can see some kind of diamond pattern forming. This wick is like kind of throwing problems at it, but it's still pretty good. It didn't come off its lowest point, so it doesn't fit my definition, but hey, I make stuff up. Maybe it doesn't have to do that. Every day I'm learning. I'm learning alongside with you guys. People say, oh, you're so good at TA. Oh my God, how'd you do that? I've been streaming it for years, but like, I don't know, 4 years before that, this is all I thought about. I used to go to work and just open charts and like ignore my job and just stare at the price of Bitcoin. I didn't even know what I was staring at, but I still stared at it. Wouldn't doubt if some of you are at that point. Only lose your job if you're, only lose your job if you plan on finding a different one, right? Something like that. If you're ready to pivot into the crypto sphere. This 5 minute looks pretty good after that sell-off. It's still leaving a nasty topic on the hour and the 4 hour. 5 minute might be losing a little bit of its strength. A little bit. Wisdom is a journey, my friend. Amen. It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey. Right at the middle of the channel. We're back below the 618. The spice may have cooled for now. It's a lifelong journey, and you guys are here with me every other day live. We'll be live again the 29th, and then probably the 1st for the Chirp Pow stream. Last time we had 5,200 viewers. Hopefully we can break that record on February 1st with your help. Hopefully. If you're new for this stream, I apologize already. I'm terrible at reading the chat. It's really hard to do in-depth analysis and read the chat at the same time. I'm very ADD, so my brain focuses on one thing or the other. But I don't mean to ignore anyone. I do my best. It's just not very good. What's up, Matt Rayner? Thanks for subscribing. And Dazix Gaming. Good to have you all. Good to have you. 32 minutes to close, and my spice senses are cooling. Cooling here. 3.5 hours, 6, 7. So this 4 hour close will close the day. You know what? It's Friday, so let's look at something we don't really look at often. Let's look at CME. While Bitcoin doesn't stop trading today or ever, CME will. So let's take a peek at what CME has for us. CME. Interesting. Interesting. We should do the next live stream on Monday. Wait, no. God, my skin is so bothering me today. On Sunday, our next live stream. If I remember, you guys can remind me. Let's do like a full rundown on CME. Let's do like a 2-year review on CME. That'll be good content. We'll be looking at price all in this range. We'll look at the gaps. We'll explain gaps. We'll talk about it. At the moment, it's just interesting because CME looks like it's deviated, right? Maybe not. It looks like it wants to, though. It looks like it wants to deviate. It's interesting because it's at this previous gap. That gap was filled in. It was filled in partially in May and then completely in June. Very inefficient price action there, and you can see it even left a gap above it in the 27 to 28 range. So while this gap was closed, it opened a new door. It's interesting because CME's finding resistance right there. Without a move up, past 25K today, CME will close there. I can't set an alert. I'm out of alerts. You think I'd learn? CME's price just seems so much cleaner. Like, you had this wick low, you dropped it, you bounced it, now you're back above. Like, when you exclude the weekend trading data, Bitcoin looks a lot better, like, consistently. What does that mean? That maybe means you shouldn't be trading during the weekends. Maybe. What's interesting here, and God, I wish I would have seen this at the start. So we talked about these macro moving averages, their importance, etc., and how Bitcoin and total crypto market cap have deviated. Total crypto market cap has retaken the 200 daily. Wait. I'm goofed up here. I'm goofed up. So has Bitcoin. All right, this is still deviated. It looks like the 200 daily, yeah, 19.6 as we said when we started. But for CME, it's at 22.7. That's huge. That's hugely different. In fact, this is pretty wild. The 20 daily on CME is right where the 200 is on Bitcoin. That's pretty wild. That's a huge gap. That's huge difference. What we can infer from this, though, is they're both looking at the last 200 days of data, averaging it together and making this number. CME, the only difference between CME and then Bitcoin spot is the weekends are excluded. So this tells me that the weekends for the last 200 days have traded lower. They've been lower trading than CME because the 200 is higher. It's excluding data. If it's moved up, it has to be excluding lower data. That's the assumption I can take from that. I was really looking for the 200 week. And there we are. 24.6, reaching up to it, leaving these little baby orphaned candles behind to close the gap here, but still a gap here. I wonder where it will open next week. I wonder where it will open next week. I wonder where it will open next week. Who knows? I don't know. No one knows. No one knows anything. No one knows jack about shit. That's what they say on Reddit. Who knows? 24/7. These were the numbers at the beginning of the stream. You'd think I'd remember them, but it's been too long. My brain has moved on. 24/7. Weirdly, 200 weeks, exactly the same. Exactly the same price. Weird. Let's flip through these charts really fast. Did I miss any? Coin. Tesla's continued to put on gains into Friday. I'll tell you what, man. I mean, we can target 232 for Tesla on the upside. I think that's a good target. But I'll tell you what, if I'd taken a position like this, this week, last week, the week before, this year, if I'd taken a position this year, and Tesla was up here and it's Friday, I personally would be taking profit on it. I'd close that son of a B. But that's me. I mean, as far as companies go, Tesla's cool, but I don't have a passion for companies. Companies can go out of business. Bitcoin, never going to go out of business. Boom. Comp rejecting from resistance subtly, not very strongly at the moment. Gold mooning against the rupee. S&P 500. 30 minutes till close. And it's almost there. Almost there. We said it might break 4,100 while we're live today. And that looks like it might be spot on. 44,094. I'll take it. $6 is 0.15% away. That's a margin of error. I have a feeling it's going to close its weekly right there, 4,100. And then we're just going to see what the hell happens next week. Lordy knows. I didn't look at Doge, but I did want to update you guys on Doge. If you're in the Discord, you probably saw me post this. I do post some updates on the Discord at my own accord. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who haven't been watching this channel since 2020 or 2019, I'm a humble guy. I don't really ever brag about my calls. If I do, it's usually just sarcasm or being goofy. I will brag about Doge. People say they love Doge. People think they're like Doge OGs. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if anyone... People call me the Litecoin King. I think I should be the Dogecoin King too, to be honest. Because I backed both of these. We call Doge on this stream In 2020, before Elon, before meme, moon, etc., back when people literally would hate you for saying you have Doge. I would say I have Doge, it's not a big position, but I think it's a good coin. And people would say, LOL, Tom, you're stupid. You're a dumb trader. You don't know Jack because you have Doge. At the time, Doge was trading at a fraction of a penny. All the way back here. You can see I still have it circly-dirklied. 003, let's call it. I don't remember the exact number. Right here. Right here. Then Elon came, Tesla came, Moon, etc. The inevitable Elon on SNL topping the price out, crashing. We called it down here. I can't necessarily say that this is the bottom right now for Doge again. But what I can say is my call was purely based on Doge BTC and having traded it for years. Purely based on Doge BTC. And here we are again. Down at 365 sats. After painting this beautiful inverse head and shoulder diamond 1, 2, 3 bottom, whatever you want to call this very strong bottoming pattern. Broke up, and we've fell in a descending wedge back down to our target, 365 sats. This is such a beautiful chart. Now, no one knows the future. Could break down again, right? But this chart has so many technical reasons to bounce here. So many. 262. This was basically the all-time high in 2014. It's basically where the rally topped out in 21 in January before retracing back to 100, which was the forever resistance on Doge. This was a beautiful technical move. It moved higher. I don't remember if this was like a measured move or what. I think it was. No. I might skip this part. Nope. It moved higher. Anyway, broke through 262. We didn't know, but the top had been in just under 1,300 sats. And now, Doge, after all that time, hold on, loading. After all that time, after backtesting the previous resistance, finding a very strong bottom, breaking out, and falling back to the neckline of that very strong bottom, it's right here. This was the same logic that told me go long on Doge back in 2020. It could fall through. Heck, it could fall through and bounce off 2262 again, right? That's totally possible. It could continue farther. You know, no one knows. Maybe it goes all the way back to 100. But right now, I'm telling you, I have a very good feeling. Not financial advice. In no way do I think it will repeat this. Doge is unlikely to ever make a gain like this again. It almost went 9,000% against Bitcoin. But it doesn't need to go 9,000% against Bitcoin to have a really big run. In fact, it could lose against Bitcoin and have a really big run. I'll tell you, man, it looks good. Whew. Nice bullish divergence. All right. I don't want to like dump my my feelings on you guys. Emotions are bad. Emotions are expensive. You will pay for them if you have them. You don't want to. Doge looking good. Consolidating. Still looking for 1069. It's coming slowly. Very slowly. AVAX and Curve. Since we have trades, I believe, ongoing on both, I'm going to open them quickly. AVAX, heading to target. 76% gain. Let's go. Higher high today. Of course, I pointed this out before, hence deleted it, but I'll point it out again. This is not the best climbing pattern. Don't really want to see this ascending channel, but it happens. Hasn't broken down yet. Doge, the only other coin to meet and pass. So that is almost true. If we exclude new coins, obviously. It's almost true. There is another one. I can only name 2 that broke their all-time high against Bitcoin in this run. And that's Doge, and that's BNB. That's it. It's the only ones I can name. CRV, our long trade, still freaking burning, baby. We're looking for 160% on that. We already took a, what, 15%? No. We already took a 32%, looking for 116%. 132. I'm liking this. I haven't actually checked this out. Daily looks like it back tested. 95 cents, we'll call it $1. Looks like it's heading back to 116 as its high. 132. Done. Done and done. Lido. I wonder if Lido hit $3. We were looking for 3. Did it hit 3? I tweeted Lido to $3. 284. Close enough. I think it's still heading there. Still in this pattern. Though it might now be, unfortunately, like AVAX, might be doing that ascending channel too. Your lows are coming up, but your highs are coming up with it. We want a flat top. Flat top. Biggest gainers and losers. Usually do this at the start. Nothing that I really know of. There's something I did want to warn you guys about. Tweeted about this as well. You should probably follow me on Twitter, to be honest. Probably. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. I did want to warn you guys about this, and it's not, mind you, it's not just this coin. So, I tweeted this earlier. I don't know what Optimus is, but I don't need to. There's an almost 0% chance that I'm coming to the incorrect assumption here. It's non-zero, but it's almost 0. So, this. Let me get my custom pen. First off, this Telegram is almost this Telegram is 100% a scam. All right, 100%. Maybe they have a legitimate one, maybe they don't. This kind of behavior. So on every tweet today, I've had like 50 of this almost exact comment by different accounts. When you see that, it is almost 100% of the time a rug or a scam. Real projects with real backing, real utility, whatever you want to call it, don't do this. Scam projects always do this because no one's going to find their coin without it. So I don't know. It does not look good for Optimus to have this happening. This Telegram, certainly a scam. Any Telegram link that's spammed out on Twitter is a scam. Hopefully the token itself isn't. Hopefully. But it does not look good. Just be wary. That was my little lesson. Just be wary whenever you see anything being spammed out like that. They're covering up for a lack of real value. It is what it is. And AVAX does look good. All right. Check out crownanalysis.com, bookmark it, for all of your market, finance, econ updates. Bitcoin's looking pretty good for 24/7/25, that 200 weekly, if you ask me. Price has simmered down on the spice. We may see a move into the end of the day. This looks like it's consolidating or flagging out. We may. We had a new short released, I believe, yesterday. There'll be another one released tomorrow. Check them out. They're boss. They're fire. Watch them all. Like them all. Comment. Hype them up. Share them. Playlists in the chat. Oh, is that the broken one again? No, it's not. All right. Right on. Check them out. We'll be live again in 2 days. Maybe sooner if there's spice. This has been a great stream. I will be on Around the Blockchain in just over an hour. So check me out there. Jump in the Discord. Sign up for Bybit today using my link, the #1 crypto derivative exchange, and check out Marketcipher. I love you all. You're all my